What if I told you that $1,000 a month was genuinely, completely enough? Not to scrape by, not to count every single coin before you eat, but to actually live good food on the table, real healthcare, a clean home, evenings you truly enjoy, and a future worth building. Most people think that's impossible in today's world. Those people haven't looked at the right places. I'm about to show you. Before we begin, if you enjoy discovering new places and seeing how people really live around the world, take a moment to like the video or subscribe. It's a small action, but it helps this channel reach more curious minds like yours. Now, let's explore. Before you laugh, hear me out. The Netherlands is not the first country that comes to mind when you think affordable. Amsterdam is expensive. Everyone knows that. But here's what most people never tell you. The Netherlands is not Amsterdam. Cities like Utrecht, Eindhoven, and Tilburg offer a quality of life that rivals the capital at a fraction of the cost. And that's exactly where $1,000 becomes a quietly powerful number. Outside of rent, the average Dutch resident spends roughly $1,200 a month on daily living. But if you are disciplined, cook at home, and choose your city wisely, you can bring that number down significantly. Groceries are reasonable, public transport is excellent, and the bicycle, which outnumbers people here, is essentially free transportation once you own one. That single fact alone could save you hundreds every month. Now, why does this matter? Because the Dutch have mastered something most of the world is still chasing. They call it balance. Working hours are among the lowest in Europe. Part-time work is not a sign of failure here. It is a lifestyle choice made by people who have decided that time is currency too. You work enough. You live fully. That is the Dutch model. The job market is strong. Technology, logistics, engineering, and financial services are all hiring. And the country consistently ranks among the world's top non-native English-speaking nations. You will not feel lost. You will feel, surprisingly quickly, at home. The weather will test your optimism. The rain is patient, persistent, and deeply personal. But the summers are golden, the canals are beautiful, and the stroopwafel will fix almost anything. The Netherlands earns its spot at number 10. Not flashy, just quietly, stubbornly, excellent. Canada rewards the patient. That is the most honest thing anyone can say about this country. It doesn't hand you comfort immediately. It doesn't part the clouds the moment you land. But for those who arrive with a skill, a plan, and a willingness to settle somewhere beyond the famous cities, $1,000 stretches in ways that would genuinely surprise you. Here's the key that most people miss entirely. Canada is enormous. The second largest country on Earth by land area, home to fewer than 40 million people. When Canadians say wide open spaces, it is not poetry. It is geography. And within that geography exists a tiered cost of living that most newcomers never fully explore. Toronto and Vancouver are expensive twins. But Halifax, Moncton, Saskatoon, and dozens of smaller cities offer comfortable living where $1,000 covers your non-rent expenses with room to breathe. Cost of living outside rent averages around $1,000 monthly. Rent in secondary cities for a one-bedroom can fall between $900 and $1,200. That means a modest income, combined with smart city selection, creates a lifestyle most people in larger economies could not afford on double the budget. The social infrastructure matters too. Healthcare is covered. Public education is funded. The systems that drain money quietly in other countries simply do not extract the same toll here. That invisible saving compounds over time in ways that are difficult to quantify but impossible to ignore. The Canadian government actively builds immigration pathways. Express entry, provincial nominee programs, Atlantic immigration. These are not loopholes, they are invitations. Canada needs skilled workers, particularly in technology, healthcare, construction, and education, and it creates structured legal pathways to bring them in. The winters are cold, honestly cold, but the opportunity? That runs warm all year. Ireland will do something to you that no brochure can fully prepare you for. It will make you feel, within days of arriving, that you have always belonged there. That easy warmth, that genuine gift for human connection that the Irish carry so naturally, is not performance. It is simply how they are built. And in a world increasingly designed to make you feel isolated, that matters enormously. Now, let's have the honest conversation about money, because Ireland has a challenge and it deserves transparency. Dublin is expensive. Housing costs have risen sharply, and rent for a one-bedroom in the capital can reach between $1,500 and $2,000 monthly. That number alone might make you close this tab, but do not close it yet. Ireland beyond Dublin tells a different story. Cities like Galway, Cork, Limerick, and Waterford offer that same Irish warmth, that same culture, those same pubs with fiddles and genuine laughter, at meaningfully lower costs. Outside of rent, monthly living expenses average around $1,100. If you choose your location strategically, $1,000 handles your daily life comfortably. The economy accelerated dramatically in recent decades, when Ireland became the European headquarters for some of the world's most powerful technology companies. Google, Apple, Meta, Microsoft, and LinkedIn all planted flags in Dublin. For a country once famous for exporting its own people, it now actively imports skilled talent. Technology, programming, data analysis, nursing, healthcare, and digital marketing are all sectors with genuine demand. There is also something intangible that Ireland offers, which cannot be assigned a dollar figure: a sense of living inside a story. The landscape, the history, the music that spills from open doors into streets wet with rain. Ireland costs you money, but it gives you something richer back. Number 8. Absolutely earned. Germany will not charm you. It will not try. It has no interest in performing for your approval. What Germany will do instead is simply function day after day, with a reliability so consistent that after a while, you stop noticing it. And then, suddenly, you realize that not noticing it is the entire point. When everything works, you stop spending mental energy on chaos. You start actually living. This is where Germany's value becomes visible for people watching every euro carefully, because a country that functions reduces hidden costs dramatically. The trains run. The bureaucracy, while occasionally labyrinthine, produces real outcomes. The healthcare system covers you. The workers' rights are enforced by law. Annual leave is protected. These are not privileges in Germany. They are legal guarantees. Now, the numbers. Outside of rent, monthly living costs average around $1,100. But here is where Germany genuinely surprises people. Rent in most German cities outside Munich is notably affordable for a Western European economy. Cities like Leipzig, Dresden, Nuremberg, and even large cities like Cologne or Hamburg offer one-bedroom apartments in the $700 to $1,000 range. That means a careful, intentional life in Germany can absolutely be built around $1,000 in monthly non-housing expenses. The job market rewards engineers, IT professionals, automotive workers, nurses, and researchers with salaries that comfortably absorb those living costs. Germany's automotive sector alone, BMW, Mercedes-Benz, Volkswagen, Porsche, Audi, is a world unto itself. One requirement demands honesty. You need German, not perfection, but enough to integrate, enough to move beyond being a well-paid visitor and actually belong. The language is the door. Learn it and Germany opens completely. And what waits on the other side is a life that is disciplined, stable, and quietly extraordinary. Germany. Number 7. Reliable as ever. Norway is the country that found oil and made a decision that most governments in history have failed to make. They saved it. Not for the politicians, not for the corporations. For the people, for the future, for generations not yet born. That sovereign wealth fund, now worth over $1 trillion for a nation of 5 million people, is not a number. It is a philosophy. And that philosophy shapes every system, every service, and every citizen's daily life. Now, here is the honest tension. Norway is expensive. A coffee costs the equivalent of $6. A beer in a bar is a commitment. Groceries, transportation, restaurants all carry prices calibrated to salaries that are among the highest in Europe. So how does $1,000 fit into this picture? It fits through salary. Because if you are earning Norwegian wages in engineering, energy, information technology, nursing, maritime industries, or construction, your income adjusts to meet those costs. Your $1,000 in discretionary monthly spending is not your budget. It is your breathing room. What remains after housing and essentials is yours to save, invest, or enjoy against some of the most breathtaking scenery the planet has assembled. The fjords are not exaggerated in photographs. They are, if anything, undersold. Glaciers carve these landscapes over millions of years. The northern lights do genuinely ribbon across winter skies in greens and purples that feel computer-generated but are absolutely real. The midnight sun in summer keeps the sky bright past 11 at night. Norway plays by different rules, because Norway can afford to. The average monthly income reaches around $4,000. Cost of living outside rent sits near $1,200. Rent for a one-bedroom runs $1,000 to $1,500. For someone earning well, $1,000 in monthly living expenses is not a restriction. In Norway, it is freedom. Number 6. There is a specific kind of quiet confidence that Austria carries, and it is felt the moment you arrive. Not arrogance, not performance, something older and more settled than either of those things. Austria was once the center of a vast empire. Vienna was its crown jewel. The empire is gone, but Vienna still moves as though it remembers. The architecture says so. The coffee houses say so. Even the way a Viennese waiter places your cup on the marble table says so. But Austria is not just a museum of former glory. It is a functioning, modern, highly livable country where your money, when managed with intention, goes surprisingly far. Outside of rent, monthly living costs run approximately $1,200. Rent for a one-bedroom sits between $800 and $1,000 in most cities. That means in places like Graz, Linz, or Salzburg, the math for a comfortable life built around $1,000 monthly is genuinely achievable. What makes Austria extraordinary is the compression of beauty into a small geography. 62% of the country's surface is covered by the Alps. In winter, those peaks become world-class ski resorts, drawing visitors from Tokyo and New York. In summer, they become valleys of wildflowers and hiking trails that remind your body it was designed for movement. The job market rewards engineers, IT professionals, tourism workers, industrial specialists, and researchers. Salzburg, Mozart's birthplace, drives enormous cultural tourism revenue. Austria takes its arts economy seriously in ways that create genuine employment. German is required here, same honest requirement as Germany, but it is not a barrier so much as a bridge. Learn it and every door opens. The Austrians are reserved initially, perhaps a little too composed for those of us who make friends immediately. But beneath that reserve is genuine warmth. Austria. Number 5. Elegance that earns its price. New Zealand should not exist. That is the feeling you get when you first see it. Not metaphorically, literally. The brain struggles to file it correctly because the landscape is so varied, so dramatic, and so relentlessly beautiful that it reads as fabricated. Fjords surrounded by mountains that block the sky. Black volcanic sand beaches beside white ones. Geothermal fields where the earth vents steam in open daylight. Rolling green hills designed by no one and belonging to everyone. Peter Jackson filmed Lord of the Rings here not as a creative gamble but as an obvious conclusion. He looked at New Zealand and recognized that Middle-earth was already built. But this script is about life, not tourism. So here is the practical picture. The average monthly income sits around $3,000. Outside of rent, living costs run approximately $1,000 a month. Rent for a one-bedroom in most cities ranges from $900 to $1,200. In cities outside Auckland, particularly in places like Christchurch, Dunedin, or Hamilton, $1,000 handling your non-rent monthly expenses is a genuine and comfortable reality. New Zealand society is open, relaxed, and fundamentally welcoming of newcomers in a way that feels organic rather than performative. The Maori culture is not a backdrop. It is woven into daily life, into language, into values, into how the country understands itself. That integration is something genuinely admirable. The job market is strong in engineering, information technology, nursing, medicine, education, agriculture, and construction. The agricultural sector, lamb and dairy especially, anchors an economy that is stable, transparent, and resilient. Two honest challenges exist. Housing in Auckland has become expensive, and New Zealand is far from everywhere. London is roughly 24 hours away. Los Angeles still takes 12. You are committing to your corner of the world, but what an extraordinary corner it turns out to be. Number 4. Switzerland is the country that takes the concept of quality and applies it without apology to absolutely everything. The watches, the chocolate, the mountain railways that run to schedule despite being built into vertical rock. The banks, which have managed other people's money with such precision that the entire world eventually agreed to trust them. Switzerland does not do things halfway. It does not understand halfway. The financial reality of Switzerland is the most extreme tension on this entire list. Average monthly income reaches around $7,000. That number is real and it is earned. But the cost of living reflects it honestly. A simple lunch costs $25. A mid-range dinner for 2 runs, $150. A haircut is $60. Living costs outside rent average $2,000 monthly. Rent for a one-bedroom falls between $1,500 and $2,000. So here is the genuine question. How does $1,000 apply to Switzerland? It applies as the margin, the proof. Because someone earning Swiss wages, particularly in banking, finance, engineering, pharmaceutical research, or information technology, who manages their life with intention, can find that $1,000 represents their discretionary freedom each month after obligations are handled. It is not a survival budget here. It is what remains after a well-structured life has been built. Zurich consistently ranks among the most livable cities anywhere. Geneva houses the United Nations, the Red Cross, and the World Health Organization. These are cities of bankers, diplomats, doctors, and researchers. They are also cities of fondue restaurants, lakeside walks, and chocolate shops that smell like decisions you will never regret. Switzerland has 4 official languages: German, French, Italian, and Romansh. Depending on which region you settle in, you might feel like you are in 3 different countries simultaneously. Switzerland. Number 3, where even the mountains follow a schedule, and the money, quietly, does too. Finland won the world's happiest country award multiple times. When people first hear that, the reaction is almost always the same. Finland? Cold, dark, quiet, reserved. Finnish people are famously introverted. There is an entire genre of gentle humor about it. The Finnish stereotype is someone choosing to stand 3 meters from the nearest person at a bus stop simply because they prefer it that way. And yet, the happiest. How? Because happiness, it turns out, is not volume. It is not sunshine or constant social performance or the appearance of ease. Happiness is trust. Trusting your government, trusting your neighbor, trusting that when you fall, the system built around you will actually catch you. In Finland, the education system is free from kindergarten through university and genuinely excellent. Schools do not crush children with memorization. They teach critical thinking, creativity, and how to learn. The healthcare system is free or near free. The social safety net functions not as charity, but as a collective contract between citizens and their state. Now, the numbers. Average monthly income sits around $3,000. Outside of rent, living costs average approximately $1,000. Rent for a one-bedroom runs between $700 and $900, making Finland remarkably affordable for a country operating at this quality level. For someone earning Finnish wages, $1,000 covering monthly non-rent expenses is not aspirational. It is simply Tuesday. 75% of Finland is forest. Over 180,000 lakes exist within its borders. Summer evenings at lakeside cottages, swimming and sitting in saunas while the sun refuses to set until midnight, are not vacation experiences here. They are ordinary life. The job market is strong in technology, engineering, healthcare, research, and notably, game development. Supercell and Rovio, both Finnish companies, helped build the global mobile gaming industry. Finland. Number 2. Quietly, carefully, beautifully building the future. Australia is a continent that decided to also be a country, and somehow the ambition suits it perfectly. A landmass the size of the continental United States, filled by only 26 million people. The space alone is staggering, and within that space exists every landscape the imagination could construct. Red deserts glowing at sunset, rainforests sheltering species that exist nowhere else on Earth. And beaches. The kind of beaches that make other beaches feel apologetic. Bondi, the Whitsundays, the Great Ocean Road. The Great Barrier Reef, visible from space, the largest coral ecosystem the planet has ever assembled. But this is not a travel documentary. This is about life. Real life. And real life in Australia, when approached with intention, can be built very comfortably around $1,000 in monthly non-rent expenses. That figure covers groceries, transport, utilities, and genuine leisure in most Australian cities outside Sydney and Melbourne. Rent for a one-bedroom in those cities ranges from $1,000 to $1,500, with secondary cities offering considerably more breathing room. The economy is one of the world's most stable. Australia moved through the 2008 global financial crisis, the one that collapsed banks across America and Europe, without entering recession. The job market spans technology, finance, mining, healthcare, construction, tourism, and digital services. The natural resources sector alone makes Australia a global economic player. Australians are, and this is said with complete sincerity, among the most genuinely welcoming people on this list. The culture believes life should be enjoyed, not merely endured. Weekends are sacred. Barbecues are a love language. Blue skies and 25 degrees is not a special occasion in most of the country. It is simply Tuesday in the best possible sense. Australia was recently ranked first in the world for expat quality of life. Looking at everything it offers, that ranking is not a surprise. It is an obvious conclusion. Number 1.